Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Connected Yoga Teacher live show. I'm your host, Shannon Crow. I'm a yoga teacher, I'm a mother of 3, and I'm a consultant for yoga teachers and studios. And I originally had decided to launch a podcast. Long ago I thought of it, and then somehow I wanted to also be able to share with yoga teachers and studios some more information via live video on Facebook Live. And so today is an exciting day because we're going to, talk about yoga for restless leg syndrome. So if you have students that have restless leg syndrome or you have it yourself, then I would like to just share what I know. And first of all, know that this isn't a replacement for your healthcare provider. Hopefully you're connecting with screen as well, so it's not just me talking. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see if technology is on our side with that as well. That said, at the very end of today's show, I might also see what it's like to jump on to Instagram Live. So that's a lot. It's just that I know that many people are doing both. Instagram Live at the same time as Facebook Live. So I'm going to see if my internet will handle it. Another exciting add-on today. So I always do my Facebook Live by the window so that I have some good lighting coming in, as long as it's pretty sunny, which it is here today in Ontario. But I'll show you one other little add-on in case you decide to do Facebook Live video, and that's this little light. And I can't remember how much it was, like $16 or something. I ordered it online. It clips on, and it'll clip on to your iPhone, your iPad, or your computer, because that's what I broadcast from. And there's 3 little settings. It's like more daylight and less daylight. So that's in case it gets really dark outside, and often the light does change on this anyway. Okay, so I wanted to also just check in with you guys, see how you're doing. Today was a little bit of a crazy day in terms of feeling really indecisive. So I'm always excited on Mondays because of the live show, and I hear from so many of you that the live show is very helpful for you as a yoga teacher. And so I really look forward to it. And this morning, I have to say that I had a bit of dread, and I figured out what it was. I do not have our May schedule planned out. And so that leaves me like, oh my gosh, do I announce it? Should it be the same length? What topic should I pick? And all of this indecision was holding me back. So if there is some part of you today as a yoga teacher that is feeling like kind of the overwhelm of making business decisions is holding you back, then I really feel for you, because today was one of those days for me. And a lot of people will say to me, Shannon, how do you do it all? And there are really rough days sometimes. As a mom, you guys can appreciate that, but also as an entrepreneur. So that was the big motivation for this live show and the podcast. So yeah, that's the way real life is sometimes. I see you guys are jumping on here live. Type a little hello in the comments if you can. It'd be great to hear where you're coming from today, and if you have any experience with restless leg syndrome, what that's like for you, or if you have questions as we go about restless leg syndrome, that would be cool to hear as well. So also let me know if you can hear me, because I'll show you one more piece of equipment. I'm using my Yeti microphone, and yeah, that's some bright colored pantyhose that I have on it. Sorry, I'm moving it around as I'm using it. I'm sure that sounds great. But I'm going to see if it picks up the sound a little bit better than my earbuds. So if not, I have them here in case. Okay, so we're live again. This is going to be part 2 of episode 15. So possibly our eCam Live is not working as nicely as we would like. So let me know, you guys. Hi, Wendy. Let me know if you saw a little blip in the show there, or if we're just, because I really hope it's recording. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so, yeah, it's one of those days. If you're not sure why, go back to the replay when we're done and you'll hear how my Monday is just a little off kilter, and I'm dealing with new technology here. So, okay. So, if anyone is wondering hi Laura, nice to see you here as well. Laura does all of our show notes for the podcast and often for the live show. So we owe huge gratitude to Laura. Laura, I have some show notes together for this one, so hopefully I've got it. Okay, so the handy thing here is that I can share my screen with you guys, and I have a little slideshow so that you can see it as we go. So just as a little reminder as well, sorry guys, just a little reminder as well. Hi Wendy, yep, there was a blip at my end. Oh yes, I know. Restless Leg Syndrome is tricky, isn't it? Okay, so I'm gonna see. Can you guys see me and the slideshow? Because that's what I was going for. I think you can now. Cool, cool. So I just wanted to show you that our Facebook Live, this is the April schedule. And as I said, I'm looking for ideas for the May schedule. So if you guys have a problem that you're dealing with as a yoga teacher, say your students are coming to you and they're asking something of you and you're not sure, or there's something in your business and you're really not sure about that, or if you have questions about yoga specifically, like poses or philosophy, we're still recording. Just so you guys know, there is a little blip happening with the live show, so hopefully we don't end up with 20 videos as we go. Okay, so this is today's adventure anyway, is our eCam Live, and we're trying it out and we'll see how it works. It's only $30 thing if you guys feel like it will work for you. I'm wondering if my bandwidth for my Wi-Fi isn't that great here. Okay, it is not happy with me today. So we might have to do images, but we'll see. Okay, so first of all, let's see, what is restless leg syndrome? So really important, again, when your student comes up to you and they say like any of the symptoms that they have, we're not diagnosing. If they come up to you and they say, I have restless leg syndrome, I've seen my healthcare provider and they told me that yoga and movement and restorative yoga or whatever they found out is good for me, can you suggest some things that might help? You can say to them, yes, for sure. We can try some yoga poses. These are things that have worked for different people. Not promising that it will cure restless leg syndrome, but that hopefully it will alleviate the symptoms. Okay, so it's also called Willis-Ekbom's disease. It affects 1 in 6 people at some point in their life, so that's quite high. Chances are you're going to have students that have this. Once I started asking my students, does anyone have restless leg syndrome? Lots of people started coming forward and saying that they did. And then it increases in pregnancy 27%, and it's more common in the 3rd trimester. So they're also doing some research that there is a genetic component as well to it. So that's interesting also. So here are the symptoms. And again, we're not diagnosing, but it's great to know the symptoms. Itching, pulling, crawling, throbbing, burning, tingling, and this sensation, usually in the legs, but it can occur in other places in the body as well. And it really can interrupt your sleep because it primarily occurs at night or when people sit down to watch TV and they relax. The symptoms decrease with movement. For example, if they get up to stretch or move. That's why people are then feeling like, oh my gosh, it's hitting me in the night and now I'm having to get up and move, and they don't really want to be doing that in the night. Okay. I'm going to move myself so that I'm not blocking your view here. What might help with restless leg syndrome? So exercise, regular yoga, walking, stretching, especially movement and stretching when symptoms are first felt. So this is where the yoga piece comes in, and we can start to alleviate the symptoms or help people through yoga. We want to look at relaxing the parasympathetic nervous system, so that relaxation response, the opposite of the sympathetic, the fight or flight, and both are really important, but we want to look at activating more so the parasympathetic nervous system. So we do this with relaxation, meditation, restorative yoga, massage that's really focused on the feet and the legs can be nice as well, but for sure all over body massage too. Hot bath or shower before bed or when the symptoms start. Soak in Epsom salt bath, warm water, maybe just the feet in the bath. Wendy, if you have it, if you know of anything that really relieves it for you, let us know also. Some people also say cold, so soaking their feet in cold water or use of an ice pack, and decreasing stress when possible. Your lifestyle, so early regular bedtime helps, elevating the legs if you're working, and I know some of you that's difficult. I was even thinking of that as I was typing this out for you guys today. Reading or relaxing. And again, this is when it will kick up. So the key factors to consider with restless leg syndrome is that to move, as I said before, move and stretch when the symptoms arise if possible. And just 5 to 20 minutes a day may relieve the symptoms. So some people have really mild restless leg syndrome. Other people have it where it's debilitating and it's affecting their sleep and their work. So that's why it's really important that they also work with their healthcare provider, because there can be other things that can be behind it. It is considered a nervous system disorder, and this is where, if we get into the parasympathetic nervous system, we can help people with it. So gentle stretching before bedtime is recommended, and today I'm going to show you guys a little flow that has both in that. Okay, so pranayama, the breath work, along with restorative yoga, that helps. As you guys already know, parasympathetic nervous system. So also legs up the wall for restless leg syndrome. You'll notice here I'm just putting RLS as a short form, but it's still the same thing. If you guys are frantically taking notes, know that all of this is in some notes, and I'll send you some links. But there is a caution in pregnancy. So lying on the back is cautioned, especially later on in pregnancy, because of the pressure of babe on the vena cava. So that's important. If you haven't taken some sort of prenatal yoga teacher training, through the Connected Yoga Teacher, we sometimes offer, Kim and I do a cautioned and contraindicated poses via Mama Nurture. So I'll give you a little more information about Mama Nurture in a minute. So contracting the muscles on the inhale. Okay, we're starting again. We're going to see how this video works because it keeps starting and stopping. So you guys let me know what that's like when it starts and stops, and if it's back to our Connected Yoga Teacher page or not. So a little caution here, when you go online and you research yoga poses for, often I find that those aren't always very helpful. So for example, if I go on many websites, I'm not calling one website out, and I look for yoga poses for restless leg syndrome, it will show me someone in a full forward fold from sitting and from standing. And in my experience, people who, the general population can't do forward fold, and there is research coming out saying that it's not always best to be trying to fold forward as far as possible. So today's flow is really gentle, and it helps populations of all kinds. As you can see, it's also safe for pregnancy, and that's a lot of it where we see students with restless leg syndrome. Okay, so we are here again, and it keeps shutting off. So we really want to find what our students' needs are and what their level is. We want to also look at increasing the circulation. We would like to find, as I said before, something that's calming for the nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, on that side of things. Some people even say that if they do vigorous exercise too close to before bed, then it can flare up restless leg syndrome. So we really want to be tapping into that. And we want to engage the muscles of the legs and hips as well. We want to use them. Okay, so here's the sequence, and it's directly off of the Mama Nurture website. So I'm going to send you guys the link for this so you don't have to write anything down for it at all. And the first one, so this is a morning sequence and just doing the press-ups in the morning. So we do just hold on to a chair or the wall and lift up onto the balls of the feet and then let the feet go down, the heels go down. So slow exhale as you lower down and repeating it about 20 times. I'm going to go through this flow fairly quickly. I'm certainly not going to lead you guys through it, but I just want to talk about the poses and why we're adding them in. So cat-cow is a great one to bring in some circulation along the spine. I have huge thanks to our pregnant yogis in here. All three of them are yoga teachers, Julie, Nikki, and Amanda, and there's a little thanks to them at the end as well. So we do cat-cow. And then here's a really great one to get into the feet and the legs. Now, just reminder to those practicing it, it can be really uncomfortable. So you want to not come into something that's inducing a lot of pain, but we tuck the toes under and then find the breath here for 2 to 5 breaths if it's okay, if it's not feeling like torture. Alrighty, then standing forward fold with the yoga mat. I love this version of standing forward fold. So as I said, forward fold is really relaxing for the nervous system, but we want to find a modification that the majority of the population can safely do. So if we bring a chair in for them and we bring the yoga mat underneath the balls of the feet, then we know that we're getting a nice stretch into the legs and they can come folding forward to a safe distance here. Yeah, this is a really nice one. And as I said, this is a pregnancy flow, but I use this all the time with other people who are not pregnant. Neck rolls, so you can do little neck rolls, one direction and then the other. And then breath and movement. And I think this is so important when getting into that parasympathetic nervous system. So the breath here, first of all, we just start inhaling the arms up in front and exhale and lowering them down. Letting the breath really guide the movement of the arms, then you can tell where your student's breath is as well. And then out to the sides. So this can help to slow down the breath and calm people. What I might even add to this one, you can put a little note here if you want, is to add in an S breath. Those that are in the pelvic health training, you guys are going to learn more about this, but inhale. Okay, so the swimming circles gets into circulation. And then we find side stretches. You guys are just popping up again with your comments. I am sorry if the technology is frustrating today. So on the inhale, we come to center, and then on the exhale, little stretch sideways. Inhale back to center, exhale, stretch the other way sideways. Then we get into one of my favorites as well. So this gets into strengthening and stretching the leg muscles, recline Buddha, and 3 to 5 times per side. So I won't go through all of the cues here for you guys, but if you are looking for more on this, you guys will have the flow. I'll put it in our show notes here. If you're looking for the show notes, they're always on theconnectedyogateacher.com. And then legs up the wall. So again, just a little caution for those that are pregnant. If any discomfort arises. Some people also do this where the hips are raised up. I saw a great video last week. It was Shelley Prosco that shared it. and I shared it on the Connected Yoga Teacher page, I believe, or in our group. I can't remember. Somewhere there. If you guys are looking for it, put a little note in the comments and I will put it there for you. Okay, so, and that is and then the last one. So this one's modified for pregnant students, modified recline big toe pose. But if your students are not pregnant, you can also bring them right down to their back as well. So a big thanks to Nikki, Nicole of Om Yoga Studio in Grand Bend, Julie of Home Yoga Studio in Onsound, and Amanda of Rising Crow Yoga in Williamsford for being our yoga models for the sequence. Huge gratitude to Kim, who's working away today with lots of kids at her school in London. And I put this flow together and it was really inspired by our work with Mama Nurture. So I will put a link to the Mama Nurture website. When I'm doing this, when I'm clicking around, it sends it into a little spin and we've restarted again. Sorry, you guys. And then the Restless Leg Syndrome whole flow is on here as well. If you guys have any questions, I would love to hear them. If they're about this flow, you can put them in the comments, or if it's anything else. And again, if you have suggestions for the live show in May, let me know. There's a little thread going on in the Connected Yoga Teacher Facebook page. Hi Sherry, great to see you here today. I'm just about to sign off, but if you have any suggestions, you guys, or other questions, you're welcome to post them here in the comments and I'll see if I can answer them. That was actually something I was considering for May, was doing like one live show that's totally Q&A. You guys can email your questions in or you can ask them live and we could do something like that. Were there any other notes? Oh yes, I wanted to tell you guys that we did a mini series on the podcast. There were 3 shows all on pelvic health. So Trista Zinn, Shelley Prosco, and Kim Vopney were all on there talking about all kinds of things pelvic health. I learned a lot and those episodes are packed. So I feel like even I've gone back and re-listened to them through editing. I've listened to them a few times or just getting them ready for my editor. And I have picked up stuff along the way the whole time. So I'm excited about those. And I will tell you guys, because you're here live, it's a little secret. I'll tell you guys what next week's episode for the podcast is that comes out on Saturday. Even Laura doesn't know because she hasn't done the show notes for it yet. It's going to be super easy, Laura. There's a ton of information in that After Shavasana episode that you guys are going to get. That's episode 10 coming out. I can hardly believe that we're going to be doing episode 10 for the podcast, and this is episode 15 for the live show. So 15 weeks we've been doing the live show together. 10 weeks soon it'll be the podcast, and it feels like sometimes it is a little overwhelming because business is getting a little busier around here, but in a great way, working with more yoga teachers. And so I'm so grateful to you guys for reaching out when you need help, and then also using the podcast and the live show in between for information. Okay, you guys have a fantastic day. Let me know if you think we should continue to do this eCam or if I should be asking for a refund. Come on, eCam Live. Why is it shutting down on us? Okay. Oh yes, as promised, I'm going to try and do Instagram Live. For any of you that are on Instagram, I think I'm just Shannon Crow Yoga. And I'm going to try and pop over there now. I think I'm probably not going to do it at the same time as the live show. I just couldn't do it with all of the notes. Take care. Bye. Mwah. Bye.